Here it is. Here it is, the point of departure, the door of no return. Here it is. It is from here that we were sent away at night by the water, and it is at night by the water that I return. Do they remember us? Do they remember us? Is our memory buried here? Is our memory buried here? Can I find my father's memory? My ancestors' memory? My memory? Can I find our memory? Who's there? Who can answer me? Is there someone there to answer me? Is there someone there to answer me? Can these walls talk?
At this time, we will relight the candles and go forward into the last exit that the slaves saw before going out on the ship. This is called the door of no return. Ask each one to light
I found
their
my own
candles.
voice ricocheting off the walls inside this place. It was mixing with other voices just like mine. I was with Margaret, Eleanor, Pat and John from New York, Joanne from New Jersey, Kwame and Charlotte from Illinois, Nana and Amicus from New York, Ophelia and Frank from Birmingham, Bob, Emery and Sharon from Jamaica, Juanita Augustine from Puerto Rico, Jose and Layla from Brazil, Gloria from Cuba, Kwaku from Suriname. Is this where my father stood? On the very ground on which our ancestors stood before they were shipped out into the horrible tunnel of the Middle Passage? How do we face this history of exile? The legacy of the lash on our backs, now imprinted on our souls, seems to give us the strength we need to begin to remember.
And kept for a period of time until they were shipped out to areas unknown to them at that point. In this day and time, we know that many of our ancestors were shipped to South America, the Hades, to Jamaica, West Indies, and also to the Americas. We are here today to come back forward and to give thanks and praise that the Almighty has spared our life, to be able to give thanks and praise to those who have gone before us, those who are with us now, and those who will come after us. So we are in these chambers because these are the monuments that have been built to corral us and to house us. And so we come forward today to say thank you to our ancestors. Help us to be able to go back and to pull that youngster or that sister or that brother together and say, hang on, stay strong. We're going to make it. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
We want to blow out the candles. What we'd like to do at this time is have you to blow out your candles. Take a moment. We want to call out the names of those ancestors that have gone on before us. Harriet Ross Tubman,
Frederick Douglass, Rosa Parks,
Marcus Garvey,
Malcolm X.
You know, what do you do? Why do you do what you do at these castles? Why do you bring people through here?
One, because it's part of our history, and we believe very strongly that when people come to this place, that it's more than just a tourist visit, because there are so many of us that never ever thought that we would ever come back to Africa, our ancestral homeland, much less to stand in the place that they took our ancestors from. So it gives us an opportunity to pay homage to our ancestors, to thank God for the blessing for returning us. For those of us who've really been blessed to live here, I never thought I'd live here. For me, for my husband, for my family, we need to share that experience. We need to let brothers and sisters know that it's possible and that this is our home. This is our land. We're not foreigners here. So that's why we do it. It's not for money, but it's an experience that most people want to experience. It's a connection to our past. You know, it gives us the opportunity to really know who we are as we retrace the steps of our ancestors. The Jews do it, They have a Holocaust. No one ever forgets the Holocaust. How can we allow someone to forget our Holocaust? Over 100 million Africans dead? It's no joke. So for that reason we do it, is to connect. It's to really make us a part together of that extended family. Because we're one Africa. We're Africans, you know. So we say one Africa.
During slavery, little children were taken away from their mothers. Can you imagine that I would take you and sell you from your mother? No, but that's what slavery was. It meant that you would never see your brothers or your sisters ever again. So we don't want to forget, do we?
I got it when we went to Goree. And then when we came here and it was dramatized, and we really, really lived it. There's nothing like it.
Tell me the story of some of the stories of the experiences of people who've come through here.
We had a sister that came and she went into a trance. She started talking in tongues and no one knew what she was saying. And each time she came into the sight of the dungeon, it happened to her.
Well, I felt angry, you know. I mean, to think that people, you know, you go through that last door. I thought about going through that last door, and you don't know where you're going. You don't know where you're going. You don't even know if you're gonna come back. Actually, you don't know anything. You just go out through that last door, and you don't see that continent anymore, at all. And that's horrible. That's really horrible. And I felt that pain.
We had another woman that came into the dungeons and she said she felt as though the ancestors someone had passed her, that she could actually feel the presence of that individual. And for her, she needed to go through the experience. We had one sister who came and never had an opportunity to go through. So many things happened she didn't go through. She just couldn't, because some people really can't. They can't make this walk. She went all the way back to the United States and came back a couple of weeks ago and asked me if I would go with her through this experience. And it was something that she herself had to do before she went anyplace else in the world. So for me, I know when I first came here, I had an experience that's very difficult to explain. But I knew when I went through it, when I came here, when I spent time in the dungeons and those ancestors embraced me, I felt warm, I felt comfortable, I felt like I'd really come home. And I knew then that Ghana was going to be the place that I was going to live the rest of my life. So that's why we do it. You know, people need to know this. Just like today, we needed the children to be able to connect with our brothers and sisters from the other side so that they know that we're not strangers, we're family. And that's important, you know, because we have to build the bridge. Everybody else doesn't. Why shouldn't African people? You know? It wasn't us that went to the Berlin Conference and divided up Africa. So that's why we do it.
Many who have taken up residency in Ghana, like my father had planned to do, who not only call Africa their ancestral home, but who now wake up every morning to the sounds of the lapping waves in their African home.
Okay, I'm up. Huh? Whose house is this? Our house. Us. This is our house. Bongo Man, Nana, us. Yes. Come here.
Amakus and her husband Nana sold their home in the U.S., picked up and moved to Africa. Bongo Man pulled up his roots in Jamaica and has handcrafted a fishing boat in order for he and Nana to start their own system of fishing. They now take visitors through both the Cape Coast and Elmina forts.
We have to reflect on the strength and the fortitude of our ancestors to have gone through this campaign. And we have continued the campaign in the diaspora, and now we're back home. So we're trying to make this connection together.
87. The thing that impressed me most about being in Ghana, that everybody here was black. I love that about being in the place, that everybody here looked like me. And then when I had an opportunity to come again and see that not only did they look like me, there were people that acted like our people. It was a sense of recognition as to where you belong. There was a certain spirit that was on you that I didn't have in America. There's a certain spirit that was on me when I went through those dungeons that said for me, yes, you are home. Home.
I met many Africans born on the continent who did not know that I, too, am a child of Africa. I found what some in Ghana referred to as a local amnesia regarding slavery and the slave forts. It was initially very painful because it meant that if they did not remember slavery, they did not remember me. I dug deeper. Certainly you must have been told stories about your great-grandparents having been stolen, villages being ravaged, populations destroyed. Ah, yes, an answer might be. But what do you think happened to those people who were taken as slaves? What do you think happened to their children, their children's children? Ah, so that's who you are. I recoiled as I remembered Africans from the continent living in America, having to explain to some of us that no, they do not live in trees, and no, they are not all starving. I recoiled as I remembered the many misconceptions about Africa I was taught as a child. Tarzan loomed in my memory. Chapters in school books called The Dark Continent. Why were we lied to as children? Why are the world's children still lied to today? The system that separated us continues to work night and day to keep that separation as vast as the ocean itself. I began to see this fort not only as a portal, but also as a lens through which we see each other. A lens through which Africans from both sides of the Great Divide can see all sides of our common past.